What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, the Bad Diggity Dizzle. Tonight, I'm excited, man. I got three of the most underrated Giants content creators on YouTube. And I figured tonight, let's get them on the channel. Let's show them some love. I got OGR Sports. I got Giants Alliance. And I got my man, Noah Cahill. What is going on, guys? How are you doing? And thank you guys for being here tonight.
I am doing fantastic. What about you, Noah? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. You guys have great channels. Yeah, thank you, man.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. David,
thanks so much for having me on, man. This is awesome. I had so much fun watching you guys stream last night. You guys did an awesome job. So I love last time I was on your stream, that's like the most fun I ever had on YouTube. So I really appreciate you inviting me again. This is awesome.
No, absolutely. My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. Yeah, last night was fun. I always like to get everybody from the division because it's good-natured trash talking. You know, one thing about our division is it's incredibly competitive. We're very passionate, and we hate each other's teams. But at the end of the day, we're all fans. At the end of the day, there's a lot of good content creators on here, that know what they're talking about. So let's see what's going on in the chat. I see Brandon Rogers, Punkum, Mike, Meat Tarhan, Mike Clark, diehard Giants fan, Gabriel Espinal, Henry Hill. What's going on? How you doing, Henry? Sean Torres is here, sports expert, Ballard Media, Brett Coport, Colby Sports, Jay Berman. Thank you guys for being here. 58 people in the chat, 28 likes. You know the drill, guys. Hit that thumbs up for me. It helps out the stream. More importantly, the link to all three of these guys' channels is in the description. So click on those links, sub them up, hit that bell notification so you know when they go live. And Giants Alliance, he just started this channel trying to get off the ground. I know that's tough, so show him some love. OGR is closing in on 1,000 subscribers. We got to get there. And Noah, you're over 2,000, right?
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube since like 6th grade, and I'm about to be like a junior in high school. So
yeah,
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you went through some iterations there before you settled on what you are now, though.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're starting young, man. You're starting young. I'll tell you, it's funny, man. I mean, it's fun. I work with so many people, or got so many people in the chat, and I swear 95% of them are so much younger than me. So it always makes me feel old, especially when there's guys in high school. I'm like, oh yeah, I graduated high school, 26 years ago. It's insane. It's insane. Aiden, Chris, KP, Josky 91, Poppy Chulo, Chad, Quest U 2, New York Mets, New York Giants, Sabrina. What's going on, everybody? Door Gunner. Thank you guys for being here. So, anyway, I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this, too. This is a question I've asked the last two roundtables. But let's get some Giants' opinions on this as well. So, OGR Sports, I'm going to start with you. I've been enjoying this one. Give me the best quarterbacks in this division from best to worst.
All right. So I'm not going to pull you and list Daniel Jones second because I'm just going to go in logical order. So Carson Wentz 1, Dak Prescott 2 by the skin of his teeth. Obviously Daniel Jones 3, and then last but not least, Dwayne Haskins or Allen, whoever ends up starting for the Redskins.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a shot in the teeth if Kyle Allen ended up starting?
Oh my God.
Giants Alliance, what do you got? Who do you think? Rank the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I have a similar rankings. I have Wentz as the best quarterback. Like you said yesterday, he was basically the MVP before he got hurt a couple of years ago. Prescott is number 2, but I think Daniel Jones is actually pretty close to Dak Prescott. And Prescott obviously has a much better supporting cast. He's had such good offensive lines. He has really good receivers, especially this season. Jones is 3. And then Haskins, I don't think Haskins is very good. I was actually, during the draft, worried that Washington might take Tua because even though Chase Young, we know he's going to be a dominant defensive end, I would rather face Haskins twice a year than them take a quarterback like Tua. So I'm happy that we have Haskins in the division. I just don't think he's very good. And I think Jones at this time next year will actually be ranked
it's
better.
like feedback. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's feedback.
I'm going to take my AirPods out just in case that's it. But I hear that too.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know what the feedback is. I don't know. Stop now.
Okay.
So, stop now, which is good. Well, there it is again. It sounds like someone's chewing. My man, the Don, is in the house. What is going on, buddy? Bradley Reynolds is in the house. Joey Logano, a fan for life. What's going on? Joey Logano, I remember he used to drive the clinic. Of course, it spelled Logano, but that's all good. Kevin Cronin, what's going on? Daniel Barry, Mike, I still hear that. Yeah, I still hear the audio. I don't know what's going on with that. Jared Williams, what's going on? Brian Stepnowski, King James III, Eighth Word, G-Men Tapes, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know where that's coming from. It stopped again, but now it's back.
Let me mute mine just in case.
I don't know where that's coming from.
All right, now it's gone.
It must be David. It must be on his end.
It's either David or Noah, because Noah muted him.
No, Noah just muted himself.
Yeah, he muted himself, and now I don't hear it at all.
John Dunham, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly says this is why I respect Giants fans more than Cowgirl fans.
Noah, I think it's on your end. I don't know what it is. It's like a little bit of a feedback. I mean, I can fight through it. It's not a big deal to me.
You guys are logical and ranking quarterbacks order. Fly, Eagles, fly. I appreciate that, John. I try to be. Noah, give me the quarterbacks. Rank them best to worst. It's got to be Noah because David.
I'll go Carson, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, and Dwayne Haskins. But Jones will be better than Prescott after this upcoming season.
See, I like it. Now, I was telling these guys before we went live that last night, I don't know, a lot of you guys, if there's Cowboys fans, then you probably know Scooter Magruder. I've heard the name. I didn't realize how big of a channel Scooter had. I noticed the check mark next to his name, and I was like, wow, I got a legitimate YouTuber in here. Anybody with a check next to their name's got like 100,000 subscribers or something. He has like 500,000. But he actually said something about me on Twitter. Because he said, I stumbled into a live stream and he goes, I heard a guy say Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott. He said, I've had enough of the internet for the night. Now, the funny thing about that was this. There was probably 50 to 60% of the people that responded to that tweet that said, he's not lying, but the guy was right. The guy, I was like, hey, see, they agree with me. Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott, in my opinion. And you know why I think that? It's simply because of ball placement. I mean, I look at where Daniel Jones places the ball, and, you can't do it any better. I mean, David, you had that great, that great stat about him being the most accurate quarterback 20 yards in the air. I got in an argument with a guy on Twitter because I said that he's the most accurate guy, and he's like, no, you're 30%. I said, I didn't say his completion percentage. I said his accuracy. And then he gives me a stat about his completion percentage. I'm like, can you read? So I had to send him a little thing you sent me. So I don't know, but that was actually kind of funny. So I don't know. No, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask all you guys this question, but we'll start with Noah. The Giants, obviously we've addressed the secondary quite a bit the last two seasons, and we brought in, we traded for Jarrell Peppers, we drafted Love, we drafted Ballantyne, we drafted DeAndre Baker, we drafted Xavier McKinney, we drafted Darnay Holmes, we signed James Bradbury. And I think the Giants are going to play a lot of 5 defensive backs. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think they'll play a lot of 3-3-5 and have your guys like McKinney and Peppers play money back, or do you think that's a good move since we don't really have strong linebacking core? I mean, how would you guys play that?
I think we're gonna have to, especially that we don't have like any like premier like edge rushers to get after the quarterback. We're gonna have to really be creative for sure with our secondary players. And I think Xavier McKinney and Jabril Peppers is definitely going to help out. But yeah, I think we will.
What about you, David? How do you think we're gonna play that?
Oh, David, can't quite hear you.
David, you there? We're having technical issues. This is a risk you run when you go live.
Yes, this is. All right, I think.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah. No, you're good.
All right. So, I could see us playing a lot of 3-3-5 because I think our safeties are better than our linebackers at this point. I think Connolly is actually an X factor. If he can come back from his torn ACL like 100%, he was playing really well last year. I thought he was by far our best linebacker when he was healthy last year for the first 4 games. So, him and Blake Martinez, I think, can mesh well. They both play like aggressively, like they like to make tackles in the backfield. So if he's healthy, I think we'll play like base 3-4 and then a lot of 3-3-5 maybe on third downs. But yeah, I mean, if he's not healthy, I can see just throwing out an extra safety just because our safeties are so much better than our linebackers at this point.
Right. And I think that would help the coverage of the middle of the field. OGR, what do you think?
What do I think? I mean, I agree. Like David said, base 3-4 and then some 3-5, like you say. But who's gonna? I mean, you're gonna have Jabril Peppers. Obviously, you're gonna have David McKinney. Who's gonna be the third safety? Is it gonna be Julian Love? Is it going to be Chandler?
Yeah, I mean, I would put in Julian Love. I just think he's a good football player. Last year, he played better than Peppers, I thought, when he filled in for him at strong safety. And he actually, I was looking at his stats on PFF when I was writing one of my articles, and he actually lined up more at slot cornerback than he did at strong safety.
Really?
He didn't play much free safety last year. Yeah, so he did play a lot of cornerback last year. He was a Jim Thorpe Award finalist at Notre Dame. So it was kind of a surprise that he fell to us in the 4th round. I think he's a very good cornerback, but at the same time, you just got to find ways to get him on the field because I feel like he's one of those guys that has like good football instincts. And he was actually really good against the run last year. He ranked or he graded out better against the run than he did against the pass. So yeah, I could definitely see him like playing a lot in like a 3-3-5 sort of defense. I think that's a lot what Patrick Graham did last year at Miami. So I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I concur with that.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason I say that is I just feel like, and I keep forgetting about Ryan Connolly. You know, I keep discrediting him or I completely forget he's on the team because he was there for like 2.5 games and then he was gone. So and you never really know what a guy's going to have coming off the ACL. But I keep forgetting about Ryan Connolly, and then I just feel, I mean, again, I don't really know how well we're going to cover that middle of the field. So I figure if we play an extra safety, you're going to have better coverage. We've gotten killed in the middle of the field for so many years by opposing tight ends. I mean, if you play fantasy football and your tight end's playing the Giants, you have to insert him. There's no doubt about that. So I'm getting sick and tired of that. So it'd be nice to be able to cover, the middle of the field, no doubt, without a doubt. I ask you guys this question too. I get your thoughts on it anyway. I mean, I see David, you muted your mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if that noise was me. I was just double checking because I have a new mic, so I wasn't sure if I was doing something wrong.
I think it might be Noah.
No idea.
I don't know. So the whole Aldrich Rosa situation. I mean, well, I don't know what the hell our deal is with kickers. We had Josh Brown. He beats his wife. We got guys that can't drive, like Kyle Laletta, who goes freaking speeding through a work zone, and it's just ridiculous. But I mean, what do you think about the whole Aldrich Rosa situation? He going to be cut if he's cut, which I would imagine he didn't have a good year last year. People want to blame it on Zach Diossi. That's fine. When Diossi left, he did play a lot better. He did kick a lot better. OGR and I were there firsthand to watch him completely bomb against the Jets. Missed a couple extra points and a field goal.
Oh God!
Which allowed my brother-in-law, the Don, to let him know he sucked, which was great, by the way. But I mean, so we let him go. Which kicker do you think we can bring in here? I mean, there's a lot of rumors about Kostowski. I've heard Cody Parkey. I mean, who do you think we bring in here? And is there somebody you prefer?
Now I'm trying to think of the kid's name. There's a kid from South Dakota State that was actually supposed to be. His stats aren't bad. He's a decent kicker. I think it's South Dakota State, or it might be the same one as whatchamacallit, or it might actually be one of those Midwest schools, small widgets. But I mean, I'm not out of the realm of actually just bringing in a free agent kicker. There's still plenty out there, and letting him try out while still bringing in a veteran. I don't think Aldrich. Yeah, I don't think justifiably you can let Aldrich have his position on this team. I mean, it's just irresponsible to go out and do that. But hey, I mean, right now he hasn't been cut. I mean, it's certainly a possibility. I mean, maybe Joe Judge's saying, hey, let bygones be bygones, but he's most likely going to be suspended anyways. So, I mean, there's just no point in keeping somebody like that. It's just a dumb move. Right. I understand a lot of people are pent up in their houses. A lot of these young players are young guys. They want to let off some steam, trapped in the house because of COVID. But it's just a dumb move, and it's not somebody I want on this team. I'm just tired of these boneheaded moves from these guys on our team. I don't really like, Capizzle just talked about earlier in the week and goes, we just had a ton of boneheaded people.
We have.
So on this team the last couple of years. So it's just like, why can't we just get these smart players that just, have their priorities straight and the team comes first? It's plain and simple. You're going to play for an NFL team on and off the field. The team comes first. I mean, obviously family's first, but the team comes second, I should say. Sorry. Right. Anyways, Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, Joe Judge is a no-nonsense guy, as we know. I think he should just easily be cut, in my opinion, because he's just such an inconsistent kicker. Of course, he had the Pro Bowl season, but he's just like his first year with the Giants, he wasn't good, and then he was great after that, and then he fell off again. But I don't really like his attitude, obviously, after what he just did with the whole situation. I saw something on Twitter that he tweeted out. I don't remember what he said, but I don't want him on this football team just because it was just a stupid move, and we need good people and good players on this football team, and he's none of those right now.
Yeah, I don't get it. Chris Devers, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly, someone's letting fireworks off over there. He says, loved last night, bud. Great work. Watching it work today. Thank you. No, you don't need to thank me. I thank you for watching. And the damn heat between Lou and Brunson, laughing fucking ass off. You killing it, bad dog. We them boys. Oh, we were talking about that earlier. The Louis T and Brunson. That was good. That was good. That was good stuff. I didn't expect that out of Louis T, but I liked it. Anytime someone goes after an Eagles fan, that's good stuff. David, what do you think? Is there a kicker that you want to come in here or not? Or think we should let Rosas go? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if Rosas was like Vinatieri in his prime or like a really good kicker, I can maybe understand giving him a second chance. But he cost us games last year. I could think of a couple of games that we could have won if he, hit his extra points or hit some easy field goals. So I would definitely cut him. And it's pretty clear what happened. I don't see how he can get out of it legally. But I mean, you never know with that. And the kicker that I would want the most is Gostkowski. He's coming off a major injury, but before his injury, he won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. He has experience with Joe Judge. Joe Judge was his special teams coach. So he would be my first option. I know Ryan Suckup is another good kicker that also is coming off an injury. So, I mean, I think what they'll actually end up doing is just bringing in a bunch of guys into training camp, and then whoever's best and whoever's healthy before the season starts ends up making the team. I don't see Rosas being on this team anymore. And I even think he wouldn't be guaranteed a spot because he played so bad last year, right? Even if he didn't have this whole situation with the drunk driving. So, yeah, I could definitely see them bringing in a bunch of guys, hopefully Gostkowski, because, his upside, I think, is higher than any of the other kickers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing. You mentioned a couple of games that, like I said, the Jets game, he killed us there, cost us at least 5 points. Cardinals game missed a game-tying field goal. I remember that one too. That could have cost us a game as well. So it sounded like he performed well, and this certainly does not help his cause of staying on the team. Cushmaster, what's good, my man? My boy Benjamin Wynn is in the house. I believe the Giants blew. What is going on, everybody? Thank you guys again for being here. Rose Tap, Cornelius G, Aiden, Chris. If you guys haven't done so, hit that thumbs up for me. It always helps out the stream. More importantly, if you guys are not subscribed to OGR Sports, Giants Alliance, or Noah Cahill, links to their channels in the description. Go in there, click on them, sub them up, hit that bell notification. Always show these guys some love. Some of the most underrated Giants content creators on YouTube. So my pleasure to have these guys on here as well. Now we got to go to our other problem child, and that's DeAndre Baker. And we still don't know anything about DeAndre Baker. You haven't heard anything about this. This is kind of in limbo. Me personally, I think he's going to get off. I don't think he's going to be found guilty of any charges. And I think that he'll be found innocent. I think that he's going to be on the team. I don't know what Roger Goodell is going to do. We never know with these guys. He suspended Zeke, even though Zeke was innocent. Of course, Zeke's had a long list of problems off the field for years, running a red light, running into somebody, lifting up a girl's shirt, being in a bar fight, all this other stuff. So he's got a track record. DeAndre Baker obviously doesn't. But, what do you think the situation is with DeAndre Baker? Do you think that the Giants suspend him at all? Do you think he gets suspended by Roger Goodell? And, what are your thoughts? What do you think should happen with DeAndre Baker? We'll start with you, David. What do you think should happen with DeAndre Baker?
Yeah, I don't foresee him getting suspended. Like, if he's found innocent, I'm guessing. I have no idea. But if I had to predict, I'm not going to I'm not going to think that he's going to be suspended or penalized in any way. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to have his starting spot. So I think he's going to go into training camp whenever that starts, hopefully at the end of this month. And he's not going to be a starting cornerback because he missed all those like Zoom meetings and the virtual meetings of learning the new playbook. So I think somebody like Julian Love, who's actually listed as a cornerback on the Giants depth chart on their website, and I don't know if that means anything, but I could see him starting at cornerback opposite Bradbury or even Darnay Holmes or Sam Beal. I could see someone like that starting ahead of him. And since he missed all that time, like, you know, taking care of his legal stuff, I think he's going to have to earn his spot. So he has to play like really well, in my opinion, to end up starting in the first game. And I do think he has like the most upside out of any of the other guys besides Bradbury, but I just don't see him starting right away. But I don't foresee him getting suspended, like if he's found innocent in court, but I could be wrong about that.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's enough evidence to really suspend him, but like Joe Judge said, everyone needs to earn their spot on the team, so he's not going to get a spot handed to him. But yeah, I would love to see someone else get a shot for sure, especially Julian Love. I think he would be good at a cornerback position. I think he's a versatile football player. We've seen how good he is at tackling, and I think he's very capable of being able to cover too. But DeAndre Baker definitely struggled in his rookie season, but they didn't really utilize his like strong skill set. Betcher just did a terrible job really like having him play off when that's not really a strong suit.
Yeah, they totally misused him, which is why I'm so glad we got the coaching staff we do now, because I think Coach Shermer and Betcher and everybody else misused everybody on the Giants. OGR, what do you think about the whole DeAndre Baker?
I right now, because everything is going to be condensed and shortened, the only other real corner that has starting experience at the corner position right now is DeAndre Baker. So that's why I actually think he does get his job right away, because you're just not going to have enough time to integrate all these guys, Darnay Holmes and whatnot. It's just he has the experience out there. So I actually think he does. I don't think he's going to be suspended. Now, could the NFL do something where, you know, even with the Zeke case, there's no evidence, but because you just did this boneheaded decision and you put yourself in a bad place at a bad time, hey, we're going to suspend you. Do the Giants do that? Does Joe Judge make an example out of DeAndre? There's a lot of questions going into it, but I actually think I kind of disagree with Noah and David. I actually think DeAndre gets it because of just the condensed amount of time. Had we had a full out, you know, whole training, we're gonna have like, you know, we will have a full on training camp, but if we had the amount of time you normally would have during an off season, then yes, I would have a tendency to agree with David and Noah on that.
The only thing I would say about that is, I mean, DeAndre Baker doesn't know this system. I mean, it's a completely different coaching staff. So even though he did get acclimated to NFL speed, NFL receivers, he's got to learn a whole new, you know, playbook, a whole new system. Which, so I think kind of all the corners, all the young corners and safeties are kind of in the same boat. And maybe Bradbury adapts a little easier because he's a veteran in the league. But I think DeAndre Baker is the best, you know, corner outside of Bradbury. I have such high hopes for him going into the year. You know, I made that video, I think it was about Kirby Smart saying don't give up on DeAndre Baker. And the next day that comes out that he was, you know, robbing people at gunpoint. So I'm like, of course that happens. But I don't want to give up on Baker, man. I really do. He played so much better the last month of the season, you know, when they weren't playing him in cover 2 and soft zone and everything else. And I just, he's too talented. There's a reason you trade up into the first round to get a DeAndre Baker. I didn't realize he had that, you know, these problems in college, but at the same time, man, talent's talent, and you hope that he gets his shit together after something like this and realizes that if he does get away with it, or, you know, he is found innocent, that, man, I almost lost my entire career because of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I need to smarten up, and I need to take this opportunity very seriously, because, you know, nobody gets these opportunities. You know, it's a very small percentage of, you know, guys that make college football teams, very small percentage make the NFL. So he's got a golden opportunity. Hopefully he doesn't let it get away. So I'll also ask you this guys, because I've been asking this one on a lot of the roundtables as well. So we'll start with you, David. Why don't you give me your predictions for each team in the NFC East record-wise?
All right, so I actually just wrote an article recently about the Giants in every single game. I predicted like their win-loss, and I actually have them going 9-7. I don't have them winning the division. I think Dallas is going to win the division. The Giants are actually going to sneak in as a wild card. I actually think the Giants' offense is going to be borderline top 10, and the defense should be much improved. I'm probably the most optimistic here for record-wise, but yeah, I see us going 9-7. I think our coaching staff is going to make such a big difference because we did lose a lot of close games the last couple of years. I think Joe Judge and like the assistants, especially with the improved offensive line. I think the defense is going to overachieve. So I actually have the Eagles going 8-8 in third place. And then I just think Washington, I actually could see them being like the worst team in the league. I think their defense is a little bit overrated. And I don't think outside McLaurin, they really have any weapons for Haskins. So yeah, I'm going to pick them to go like 3-13. So that's my
OGR, what do you think?
So honestly, I actually think 9-7 wins this division, or 10-6. I don't see any team going beyond that because everybody just has a ridiculously tough schedule. So right now, because the Eagles have the best starting 22, in my personal opinion, I'm going to give the nod to the Eagles. I think they go 9-7. I think Dallas is right there. I think Dallas competes, again, 8-8 record. Now, maybe some people have them a little bit higher. I'm going to keep the Giants where I had them, 7-9, and I expect the Washington Redskins to be about 4 or 5 wins.
All right. Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I have the Eagles winning the division. I believe you made a good point about this, about how like every other quarterback needs to learn a new playbook, but Carson Wentz doesn't, and especially what's going on with the whole pandemic going on. But I think, of course, because they know the defense and Carson Wentz obviously knows the playbook, and it's going to be hard for Daniel Jones transitioning into his second year with a new playbook. Same with Dwayne Haskins. But after that, I'll have the Cowboys, and then I'll have the Giants, and then the Redskins.
All righty. New York for Life 12, going with the Mike Francesa troll comment. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Brilly, my good man. He says, you think if Joe Judge doesn't live up to expectations, do we sign Vince Lombardi as our new coach? That is a Mike Francesa thing. I remember a guy calling up Mike Francesa and asking him if Vince Lombardi should coach the Knicks. I remember. And Mike Francesa pretty much said, yeah. You waited an hour on the phone to ask me if a deceased coach going to be the coach of the Knicks. Well, I don't really have a job right now. You don't have a job. Really? That's Mike Francesa. I love when they troll Mike Francesa. So this is something I thought of today. I thought this would be interesting. I want you guys to give me a letter grade on these draft picks. Okay, I just brainstormed this one as you guys were talking. So we're gonna start. With you, OGR. CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. I'll give it a B+.
Noah.
Not quite an A.
I'll give it a B.
David, what do you think?
I thought that pick was an A+. I was really mad when Dallas drafted him because I think he's the best receiver in the draft, and they already have 2 really good receivers. So I thought it was an A+. It was a great value at 17. So.
Yeah, I would give that pick an A because I also think he's the best receiver in the draft. And it's Dallas loves to take Oklahoma Sooners players, man. I don't know what it is. Them and the Eagles take all my Sooners, and then I can't root for them. It sucks. I hate that. I have to always. They took DeMarco Murray. This year they took CeeDee Lamb. They took Neville Gallimore. And then, of course, this is the next one I'm going to ask you. We'll start with you, Noah. Jalen Hurts. Give me a grade on that one.
F.
F. Okay. It's simple. OGR.
I'm not going to give it quite an F. I'm going to give it a D- just in case it works out.
Okay, David.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a D- too. I like him as a player. I think he has good intangibles and he's very athletic. But I just thought for the Eagles it was such a bad pick. They needed weapons for Wentz, and there were so many good receivers available. So I thought that was a very strange pick in the second round.
Yeah, I thought that was terrible. As you could tell by me, I would give it a Z. It was awful. That was the thing that got Louis T and Brunson going though, because I asked him if he thought about the pick, and That was funny. Daniel Barry, my man, thanks so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate that, brother. Brilly, new member. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate becoming a member of the channel. So thank you. You said we get to 100 members, I'm going to start giving away jerseys. I think that was member number 94. I kind of just been treading water in the low 90s. So
what you're telling me is I got to make a bunch of friggin' ghost accounts and just get you over to the 100.
One small start. I think that will happen. God, who was the next guy I was going to ask you guys about? Chase Young. No, that's
Rager.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Jalen Rager? We'll start with you, David.
Yeah, the more I look into that pick, the more I like it. I read a statistic that the Eagles, even though they have a West Coast offense, had the least amount of yards after catch from their receivers. And Rager is good with those like little screen passes, and he's good after the catch. He didn't run the fastest at the combine, but he supposedly ran like a 4.27 at his pro day or some other time when he ran the 40-yard dash. So I actually like the pick. I would have taken Justin Jefferson because I just think he was the best slot receiver in the draft, and he was probably the best overall receiver left. But I do like Rager, and they definitely needed a receiver, so I'll give that a B+ as the grade.
OGR.
I'm going to give it a C. I hear what a lot of people are saying about Jalen Rager now, but I mean, as far as the wide receivers that are remaining on the board, I don't think he was the best remaining on the board at the time. So that's why I'm going to give it a C.
Noah.
I thought it was a reach, but they definitely went for need. Like, I didn't think he was like a terrible player whatsoever. I think he's going to translate pretty well, but there's not many like TCU wide receivers that really translate well to the NFL. But it's really how they build around his skill set for sure, though.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually read an article. I forgot who wrote it that said Jalen Rager was the worst pick in the draft. Wow. The worst pick in the draft. I didn't think he was that bad, but I would be about the same. Hi, buddy. Yeah, I got a guest in the studio. Thank you. What is it?
I thought there was only going to be 4 of us tonight.
Oh, it's a candle. Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, little bad dog made an appearance real quick there. How about Denzel Mims? Noah, we'll start with you. Denzel Mims.
I'll give it a B+. Some people either love him or you just like hate him. Obviously, like where he came from, for sure. But they definitely need wide receivers. I actually thought they had a good draft. But knowing the Jets' luck, Becton's just going to become a bust. But with Sam Darnold's situation, like it doesn't matter like how many good wide receivers you have. If you don't have time to throw the ball, it really doesn't matter. But I honestly thought that was a good pick for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you stink. It doesn't matter who your receivers are either. It doesn't matter. OGR, what do you think?
I'm going to give it a B-. I'm right in line with Noah. I mean, you can't. It doesn't matter how many good wide receivers you get. If you don't have anybody to protect Sam Darnold, what are you going to do? But I thought it was a B-. B-.
David.
Yeah, I actually give it an A-. I wrote an article like before the draft that I wanted the Giants to target him possibly in the second round because he does have really high upside. He was by far the best receiver at the combine. He's like super athletic. And in the Big 12, like they have a bad reputation that they're not like complete receivers, like good at route running, but he did a really good job at the Senior Bowl. And the Jets obviously need a receiver. They lost Robbie Anderson to the Panthers. So I actually thought it was a good pick. He's really tall. Like I was going through all his highlights before the draft, and he's one of those receivers you could just throw it up to and he'll win the contested catches, and he makes some really nice catches as well. So I think it's a good pick. I thought it was a really good pick, actually.
I don't really know what Mims is going to do for the Jets, but I would do about the same as you, David. I give him an A- for the simple fact that the Jets were able to trade back and still get him. So that to me was huge that they were able to trade back and they got good value for him and they got an extra pick. So I actually thought that was a good pick by the Jets. David, we'll start with you on this one. Jordan Love.
Yeah, that was a bad pick because Aaron Rodgers, he's still, in my opinion, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's probably 5th, and you need to like surround him with better weapons. Like they have Devontae Adams, but I don't think any of their other receivers scare teams too much. And there were so many good receivers available. There were so many different directions they could have went in. So I just thought it was strange. I don't see Jordan Love playing this year or even next season. So, I mean, the same thing was said when Rodgers was picked and Favre was still like sort of at the end of his prime. But I just think it was a bad trade. Like quarterbacks have been, they usually take like 1 year to develop, but Jordan Love's one of those very raw quarterbacks. He could be like a really good player or, he could be actually really bad. So I didn't like that pick at all. I mean, everyone said it, but the Packers probably had the worst draft out of any team. I didn't like that pick at all. So I'll probably give it a D.
Yeah, they really reached for him in the second round too. OGR, what do you think?
It's one of those picks that, like, face value, you got to grade low. So I'd give it like a D or even a C. But it's one of those things, like, 3-4 years from now, he develops into, another franchise quarterback. And, because Aaron Rodgers hasn't been the healthiest guy, I mean, of late, and he is aging. So, I mean, it's a reach there, but it's one of those things, like, looking back on it, how you can regrade drafts, and a lot of analysts do regrade drafts. It's one of those draft picks that you could potentially say, yeah, wasn't that bad at the time. Now that I look back and look at it, but
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to give it a grade. Like, just keep in mind, they're like 1 game away from the Super Bowl, and like they don't really draft wide receivers high, which is weird. And I was like, wow, Aaron Rodgers must not like this pick at all. But I do like Jordan Love. Obviously, it was like a long-term pick. But right now, it's not a good draft pick because you didn't address like any need to win right now.
All right. We got 150 people in here again, guys and girls. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor. Let's get to 100 likes. We're at 83. Where's Hakeem J? He likes when I do that. 100 likes. More importantly, go into the description, guys. A link to all these guys' channels is there. Please sub each and every one of these guys up. Click that bell notification and show them some love. And again, I thank you guys for being here. I got one more to ask you guys for. We'll start with you, OGR. Isaiah Simmons.
I'll give it an A. It was a good pick. Probably the most talented linebacker in the draft. Arizona, needs a little bit on defense. I think they actually maybe should have gone offensive lineman there, but the value's too much to pass up with Isaiah. So yeah, I'm gonna give that pick an A.
Noah.
I give it a B+ just because they didn't address the offensive line. They went in the Russell Wilson approach, like Kyler Murray's good enough to like run around back there, and they don't really care about protecting him. But Isaiah Simmons obviously is just a versatile freak, and no question the value is just unbelievable. But yeah, Jedrick Wills there. That's what I went, but the value is just too good.
I'll tell you, there was a part of me when I was talking about this, and I knew they weren't going to do it, but I was like, can you imagine if they took CeeDee Lamb and reunited him with Kyler Murray because they had such a great rapport at Oklahoma, and you would have had CeeDee Lamb and DeAndre Hopkins, which is a guy that a lot of people compare CeeDee Lamb to. So that would have been pretty insane watching that offense. David, what do you think?
I give him an A. I my first ever video on YouTube was like a 15-minute video about why the Giants should take Isaiah Simmons. I'm a Clemson fan, so I'm obviously biased when it comes to this, but he's such a special player. Like, he's 6'5". He ran a 4.39 40. He plays all over the place. He had 8 sacks last year. He can play deep half safety. Like, he's faster than any of the safeties that are currently on the Giants, even faster than Peppers. So I could see Arizona. They seem like, with their coaching staff, they're going to use him basically everywhere. If you just line him up at middle linebacker and plug him in and just he plays like a prototypical linebacker, he wouldn't be worth the pick. But you can take away, the best tight end on the other team, or you can use him on blitzes. Like, you could use him all over the place as the ultimate chess piece. So I think he's going to be really good, actually. So I give them an A. I think that was a good pick for them.
It was first of all, what's up, Brunson? LB in the chat. Brilly, my man. Good to see Lord Brunson. He was on the channel last night. It was a great stream with those guys. And Brian Stebnowski became a new member. Brian, thank you for becoming a member, brother. Brilly, welcome to the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. I appreciate that very much. Everybody knows I was a big Isaiah Simmons guy. I love Isaiah Simmons. And although I didn't expect the Cardinals to take him, they did end up getting Josh Jones in the third round, which a lot of people thought were going to go late first, early second. So they got value there. They did end up with the right tackle. Again, I thought Jedrick Wills was the pick there, but I don't know how you can't give that pick an A. I mean, Isaiah Simmons, Arizona needs defense, and they got the most versatile, best athletic linebacker in the draft, second best defensive player outside of Chase Young, and I don't think it's close. So I didn't expect it there, but I don't know. It's kind of like Jacksonville when they had to take Josh Allen last year after we took Daniel Jones. They didn't need Josh Allen, but it's like the guy fell all the way here. We got to take him. So I think that's what happened. So it's funny how that number 7 pick seems to get a defensive player that's fallen down there the last couple of years, which you wouldn't see happening. Since I just mentioned Daniel Jones, we're going to go into Daniel Jones, and we're going to start with you on this one, David. What do you think Daniel Jones has to do to improve? Like, what besides the fumbling? Because we all know that he's got the fumbling issue. Besides the ball protection, what does he have to do to be a better quarterback in year 2?
Yeah, I was actually reading up on Jones today, preparing for this stream, and I found a really interesting stat that he was actually the best quarterback in the NFL quarterback rating when he was in shotgun, because he played a lot of shotgun at Duke, and for whatever reason, Shermer didn't use him in shotgun as much as he probably should have.
Correctly.
Yeah, so I think he needs to work. I think Garrett's going to actually use him in shotgun a lot more. And actually, Saquon Barkley is better or very comfortable running at a shotgun because that's what he did a lot at Penn State. So I can see the Giants using a lot of RPO, keeping it simple for Barkley and Jones in a new system, especially with this truncated offseason. But yeah, I think he's very good against man-to-man as well. His quarterback rating was off the charts when it came to man-to-man. Where he did struggle a little bit was against zone coverages. And it could have been because of the offensive line, and he didn't have that much time to really, a lot of young quarterbacks aren't as good against zone coverages, but I think that's something he can improve upon. He's such a smart player. So, yeah, I would say those are the 2 main things, working under center and then also playing against zone coverage, because I think Jones is going to have a really good season. If you guys play fantasy football, I think Jones is definitely a quarterback you should be targeting towards the end of the draft. I mean, in any fantasy draft, it's always smarter, in my opinion, to wait on quarterbacks. So Jones would be a good target at the end of your fantasy draft.
I'm in a keeper league. We play 2 quarterbacks. We have 12 teams. You don't have a defense or a kicker. We play 2 flex positions and one could be a quarterback. My buddy and I that share a team, we actually took Daniel Jones in the 13th round last year. So we'll give up an 11th round pick this year, and we'll have Daniel Jones. So I like that. But to your
point, a great value.
I think that like you said, a lot of young quarterbacks struggle against the zone. They're not acclimated to playing. The defenses are way more complex in the NFL. So it takes a little time to get acclimated to those different defensive teams. But like you said, Daniel Jones is smart, and he's obviously worked very hard. We've seen that this offseason. So I have no doubt in year 2 he's going to take a big step up. You expect him to have a big year? I went out on record say I think he's making the Pro Bowl. They all busted my balls about that last night. I said he's going to make that.
That's funny.
They said bold prediction. I said Daniel Jones making the Pro Bowl. Then they all thought that was funny. They got a kick out of that. I'm dead ass serious, man. I ain't trolling. Daniel Jones going to the Pro Bowl. Noah, what do you think?
I think obviously it's the pocket awareness, but I think it did get better towards the end of the season. If you take a look at most of his fumbles, they were off of bad snaps. Jalapeno is awful. I hope he doesn't come back at all. But yeah, definitely zone coverage. I remember in his second start, the Redskins defense definitely tricked him in zone, and he ended up throwing the same interception twice. But he does know how to face adversity, which of course a big part of that was playing at Duke. I believe it was over 30 dropped balls, but I think it's definitely pocket awareness. But I don't think that's something you can work on. You either feel it or you don't. But it did get better towards the end of the season. But I would definitely say protecting the football and sliding too.
Yeah, got to get down. Got to feel that pressure and sometimes just give a play away. You can't make a play on every snap, every play is not meant to be a home run. So he does have to do a better job of that. OGR, what do you think? He must have had the young ones in the back. I saw him muted.
Oh yeah, I muted it a couple times.
I know how it goes.
But I just want to say real quick, obviously, what's up to Lord Brunson because he said hi to me in the chat, and also what's going on, Jay Berman, another good subscriber of mine. But all that being said, though, for me, Daniel Jones, obviously, David touched on it. The zone is obviously where he is weak, so he needs to improve there. For me, his release is okay, but his overall time holding the football, he was on the lower end, so he needs to improve and quicken that up a little bit better decision making. But that will happen in year 2. And again, like David said, I was going to point out as well, shotgun. We can be a little bit better out of shotgun and use Barkley out of that. Obviously, actually, I got tired of watching Barkley at Penn State out of shotgun, to be totally honest with you. I wanted to light him up in the eye, but that's not the system Penn State runs. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, because they did run a lot of I formation at Dallas. I was wondering if they were going to use Elijah Penny and do some offset I or some I formation, give him the lead blocker, especially with the way that our offensive line is struggling. Now we have 3 new guys, coming in, one definite starter. We don't know when Parrott or Lemieux is going to make it. I think that center position is wide open, though. I don't think that's given to anybody. I do think Solder's going to start on the right. I think Parrott will have to earn that. But like Joe Judge says, nothing's given. Everybody's going to earn it. Which, I mean, this is why I wish we had the mini camps and the rookie camps and the OTAs, because I would love to see these guys actually compete with one another. I mean, the Giants have a lot of young guys in there. So young guys, they're hungry. They want to play. They want to prove themselves. They want to get better. And then, these veterans that have been around, the young guys can push them to be better. So that's kind of, what I'm hoping happens with these guys, without a doubt. So I ask you guys one more question about the Giants. We'll take some questions from the chat. We'll start with you, OGR. Evan Ingram, does he make it through the season or not?
No. He doesn't make it through the season at all. I know a lot of Giants fans really want me to say, yes, of course, and the upside and whatnot. But until you show me you can play through a whole season and be healthy and not have the dropsies, which he's had in his career, no, I do not expect him to make it through the season. I've been on record saying Caden Smith, I think, will take over the job at some point this season. I just think he's a better fit for what Garrett and Joe Judge want in a player. I'm not saying that Evan Ingram isn't more talented. Obviously he is, but I just don't expect Evan Ingram to play through. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
David, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, last year he missed 8 games. I'm going to predict that he'll miss like 3 or 4 games. So he's going to play a lot more than he did last year. And he's a big X factor as well on the offense, because he's the most dangerous pass catcher on the team. We don't have like a legitimate number 1 receiver. And he has the potential to be a top 5 tight end, especially as a receiver. He's so fast. And I think with a better offensive line, he can actually get vertical a lot more, because Jones will have more time in the pocket and we can utilize him more down the seam. So I could see, because I like Levine Tololo. I thought that was a really underrated signing as a backup tight end. He's a very good blocker. And then Caden Smith. So maybe they don't use Ingram as much on like every down to try to keep him healthy, or maybe use him more on like obvious passing downs, because he's an X factor and we don't have that number 1 receiver. So he can kind of be that number 1 option if he's healthy in the passing game.
Right. No, what do you think? Does he make it through the season or no?
He won't, but I want him to. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Caden Smith. Obviously, he's a better blocker and he can catch the football. And him and Daniel Jones have a good connection. And I wouldn't want to mess that up. I believe it was in the Redskins game. He just had a great connection. It was the Redskins, but when you have a connection with a quarterback and a weapon, I don't think you should mess that up at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited because I think Caden Smith had like 28 catches in the last 4 games. And my favorite part, obviously, is he pissed all over Landon Collins for the game winner. We all know how I feel about Landon Collins. I don't like him. And then it's good to see you had a good rapport with Caden Smith and Darius Slayton. So going into year 2, what I love is that Slayton and Daniel Jones are both rookies. And now you should see that great connection for years to come. It's good that they hit it off immediately. You like to see that. And you like to see the way Darius Slayton rebounded from getting shoot out his first day of training camp last year. Like seeing Daniel Jones work really hard. It'll be an interesting season for the Giants. I would be much more optimistic if our schedule wasn't so damn tough. We have such a tough schedule. My goal this year is to beat the teams in our division, please. Please beat the freaking teams in our division. Meet Tarian, thank you for the super chat. We'll start with Brilliant, my man. He says, what would the Giants do if a highly regarded player such as DJ or Barkley decided not to play this year because of fear of COVID? I would be crushed. I mean, I'll answer that first. I mean, obviously they would just play the backup. I don't know what else you could do. You know, it's just I think that's what would happen. But I don't think anybody can play in fear of that. I mean, you know, that is what it is. You know, I can't imagine they would do that. But OGR, what do you think?
Repeat it. I missed
it. He said, Karner said, what would the Giants do if a highly regarded player such as DJ or Barkley decided not to play this year because of COVID?
Start Colt McCoy. No, but
that's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it is what it is, and that's a realistic possibility. You know, they were talking about it. A lot of the NFLPA is talking to the agents and saying, hey, if you're a player, you don't feel comfortable playing, guess what? You don't have to play, and there's going to be no retribution, you know, against you. So, I mean, it's a realistic possibility. I don't think a lot of people touch on that, and we'll find out closer to the season and during practice. You know, we'll get a real strong feel for that.
Noah, what do you think?
I don't think it will happen, but it's just next man up mentality. And if it does happen, we're going 0-16.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Barkley's going to have a monster season. Like he always posts pictures of himself, like working out and videos of his workouts. And he's bulked up big time. He's squatting like 600, 700 pounds. So he's ready to have a great year. Last season, Daniel Jones was actually second on the team in rushing. And then after him was Gallman, and he only had 110 yards last year. So yeah, Barkley's the workhorse. I don't think any of the guys behind him are really capable to be starters for an entire season. So it would be really bad if that happened.
This is why I think Javon Leake is the most likely undrafted free agent to make our team for that reason. There is no depth at that running back spot. I know he brought in Deion Lewis, but Deion Lewis is 29, 30 years old. He's always been more of a gimmick, you know, pass catching running back, third down type of running back. Javon Leake is going to make this team. And I think Javon Leake can actually have an impact on this team one way or the other. I just want to say what's up to Jay Berman, Alex Sports, KP, Afghanistan, my man. What is going on? Brokey's in the chat. I saw a bunch of new people in here. So, again, if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. More importantly, guys, make sure you go into that description. The link to all three of these gentlemen's channels are there. Click on that and to sub them up, ring the bell, and that way you know when they drop content. And thank you for being here. OGR Sports. That's right. Really. Thank you for the super chat, man. He says, the chat, do me a favor, bang that like. Also, huge thank you to Bad Dog for bringing us on. You don't need to thank me, Edward. You did not need to drop a super chat. I appreciate it.
It's a good multitasker.
I mean, it's definitely my pleasure. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun doing I like to live stream anyway. I like to hang out with the chat, but it's so much fun to bring in fans, you know, of opposing teams, but also Giants, you know, video content creators that I haven't really got a chance to work with to get everybody's opinion on their teams, because we don't really have a lot of football to talk about. Right? We have no football to talk about right now. I shouldn't say any. So it's good to just get different people's perspectives. And that's one thing I love about YouTube is you can get so many different people's perspectives. And, you know, we're not always going to agree with one another, but at the end of the day, we just want what's best for the team. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Alex Sports says, question for all of you. We'll start with Noah. Do you think Derek Dillon makes the team? I like his skill set.
Derek Dillon, most likely, I think he would be the one that makes the team, because I think the other receivers are pretty raw, in my opinion. But I think we have a pretty solid receiving core. I think it's actually kind of underrated. I think Sterling Shepard's going to have a big year for sure, but I don't know if he'll get much playing time, to be honest. It depends how we really utilize him.
OGR, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't know much about Derek Dillon, to be totally honest. He's one of the wide receivers I know least about on this team. You know, I'm more of a Big Ten guy, so obviously I'm rooting for either Mac or Benjamin Victor. But from what I hear, yeah, you know, he has a good shot. So I mean, why not? I mean, I mean, obviously, some of these one or two of these undrafted free agents, I think, are going to make the team regardless. You know, because how are we going to fill out that back end? I think our four are kind of set between Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, and Corey Coleman. After that, it's kind of a question. And are we going to keep 6 or 7 wide receivers on this team is also a question. So
Right. We always need special team spots too, and they did increase the roster from 53 to 55, so there's definitely a possibility some of these guys get there. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the two Ohio State receivers that are the undrafted free agents over Dylan. Both of them are tall. Like Benjamin Victor is 6'4", and Austin Mack is 6'2". And Austin Mack has really long arms as well. Dylan obviously has the 4.28 speed. He's the fastest out of any of the Giants receivers. He's even faster than Corey Coleman. And I would say Corey Coleman is slotted in at the number 4 spot, but he's coming off a torn ACL. He's a very good kick returner, but I don't think his number 4 spot is guaranteed just because of his injury. But I hope he comes back healthy because he was really good 2 years ago with Eli in 2018. So, yeah, I don't see Dylan making the team, but I could definitely see like a practice squad spot for him because he's so fast and he has a lot of potential. But I like the two Ohio State receivers better. I think Victor is actually going to make the team because he's the best red zone target. He's very tall and he has the long arms, and I could definitely see him making the team.
That's something that they gave Eli Manning his second season was the Plaxico Burress. Not that Benjamin Victor is going to be Plaxico Burress, but he is, like you said, a big body, a red zone target at 6'4". Giants did a really good job in the undrafted free market. As far as Derek Dillon goes, yeah, the 4.28 definitely jumps out at you. There's no doubt about it. And the other thing about Derek Dillon, and I didn't even realize this till Goose brought it up because he's an LSU guy, is that he played behind Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase rather. So it's he really had much of an opportunity to play there. Now, again, I don't really know what he would have done. And again, these guys that are just speedsters don't always pan out. I mention John Ross all the time because there's so many guys that are infatuated about, I had a guy, I was arguing with the guy, CeeDee Lamb's going to suck. He ran a 4.5 40. I'm like, you don't watch football. You think 40 time means everything? I mean, what was Jerry Rice's 40 time? 4.61? Does that matter? No, of course it doesn't matter. Route running is important in the NFL. And I say it all the time. If speed and everything, John Ross would be the greatest thing ever. He holds the record of 4.2240. So it doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't have the entire package. So I think Dillon will struggle to make it. He might make it as a practice squad player. Maybe he gets on there if there's injuries and we need a special teamer. But yeah, I'm with you, David. I think if any receiver makes this, it's probably Benjamin Victor, without a doubt. Jimmy, yes, the Lakers, July 30th, and they play the Clippers. Laker Dog will be back. Yes, sir. So you don't need to worry about that. I ain't going anywhere. Laker Dog is here. Well, not yet, but end of the month. So yeah, guys, if you've got questions, let's see if I can scroll up. Ramdre, what's going on? Thank you for joining the stream. Joe Black says David and OGR know what they're talking about. Well Got Game TTG says, do you think Evan Ingram is a top 10 tight end? David, we'll start with you.
I think he's a top 5 tight end as a receiver, especially. And you could see what an impact having a tight end like him can have on an offense. Like the 2 Super Bowl teams, Kansas City had Kelsey, and then Kittle was on San Francisco. And, you could put the tight end into the slot, and then the defense has to declare if they're in like zone or man-to-man. And Ingram is always going to be a matchup nightmare. Like no matter what linebacker is on him, even safety, he's going to be faster than those guys. So he's the fastest tight end in the NFL. I would definitely say he's top 10. I would even consider him top 5 if he's healthy.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he has potential to be top 5. I think he is top 10 right now. All I heard of him coming out of Ole Miss was obviously just like a nightmare mismatch, of course. I didn't think it was the right pick at all at that time. But I think he definitely does have potential if he just stays healthy.
OGR.
So the best ability is availability, and that's just been the problem. So I kind of agree with David in the sense that, he's a top 10 or top 5 talent-wise, but as far as being a top 10 tight end, well, there's just other guys that actually play the whole season. So, I mean, I'm until he does it, I'm like, nah, sorry, because his best year was his rookie year. Also, I got a quick question, if we have time. So,
yeah, no, of course, go ahead.
So, obviously, Noah and David, have you guys seen the CBS top 10 coaches for the year?
I saw it briefly, but I can't even remember. I just remember the Eagles coach was a little bit high. And
right, they had Doug Peterson, top 10, number 9 overall. A lot of Eagles fans felt he should be top 5. If you want me to run down the list for you guys, I can real quick. I'm not going to get it completely right, but I can give you all 10. But Do you think that Doug Peterson is a top 10 coach in the NFL? I'm curious. So Noah, we'll start with you and then we'll go to David.
It's really weird. Obviously, he won the big game, but his decision making is not good. Like, it's crazy. Like, when he went up against the Giants, like, I did not like his play calls. Sometimes it just like happened to like work out, but I would definitely have to hear like all the names to see like who was in front of him. But I would say he's a top 10. I wouldn't say he's top 5.
Yeah,
David?
I agree with you, Noah. I would say he's top 10 because there's not that many coaches in the NFL that have a Super Bowl. And you have to give him a lot of credit for winning that game against the Patriots, the only other team besides us to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And the whole Philly play, he went for it on 4th down with that trick play. So that took a lot of guts. And it seems like they always make the playoffs with, they seem to struggle with injuries. And then their depth isn't very good, but then they still make the playoffs. So I give him credit for that. But at the same time, I think there's some like young coaches like McVay in St. Louis that I'd rather have over him. So I don't see him as like an elite coach, but just because he has that Super Bowl, he maybe is like borderline top 10.
I'll just give you guys a quick list. So it's Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, McVay was on there, Shanahan was on there, Zimmer was on there. And I think I'm forgetting like 1 or 2 more, but they had him number 9 overall, and they actually had McVay and Shanahan above him. The only obviously coach below him was Zimmer. And my argument was, hey, if you want to put him at 7, that's fine. But the rest of the guys that I named on that list, they're all top 50 coaches all time as far as wins and winning percentage. And just Doug Peterson hasn't been doing it long enough. I'm not saying he can't be there one day. I'm just saying, he's top 10 right now because, you come in, you have winning seasons, you have a very good record as a coach, and you win the big game within your first 4 seasons. Obviously, you are a top 10 coach in the NFL at that point. But.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be top 10. Listen, when Peterson first got there, I always thought the Eagles won in spite of him. I was not a fan. I said, this guy sucks. This guy's a terrible coach. But I swear to God, I think last year was his most impressive coaching performance. He impressed me last year. Eagles took a bunch of ragtag nobodies, and I know we played in a weak division. The fact that they ended up winning 9 games with nobody there. I mean, nobody. I mean, everybody was banged up. I don't even know who the hell he was throwing to against us, that last game last season. And they just find a way. They find a way. They're resilient. And I say it all the time. A team takes on the persona of its head coach, and got to give it to him. Peterson's a resilient guy. That's a resilient team, but I am not putting him top 5. I mean, there's just no way he's a top 5 coach. But I think, like you said, OGR 7th, I could see him maybe getting up that high, but I'm not putting him in the top 5. There's no way he's a top 5 coach. Zach Phillips, thanks for the super chat, brother. Brilly, he has a question. He says, who is the dark horse on our team this year? I think it's Holmes. OGR, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to either go Holmes as well. I also like Carter Coughlin out of Michigan. I'm sorry, not Michigan.
Minnesota.
And I love PJ Fleck. I've saying PJ Fleck's praises all offseason as far as it goes. And if you look at Carter Coughlin's, I think PFF said he had one of the highest pass rushing grades in the country. I think he actually outdid Chase Young, which was crazy at one point there. But so for me, it's Carter Coughlin and Darnay Holmes.
Noah, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Lorenzo Carter, and hopefully I'm right because he definitely disappointed me this past season. But I think a big part of it is Pat Shurmur, and I think Joe Judge, and just the whole coaching staff is gonna get a lot out of him. I think he has a lot of capabilities. He is athletic for sure. I think he needs to get stronger and get more pass rush moves in his arsenal for sure. But I think he has tons of potential. He just needs to be in the right situation to really succeed, and you have to really utilize his skill set properly.
What do you think, David? I hear thunder out here again. Great. So if it just dies, my power went out again. But David, go ahead.
I think Dexter Lawrence, even though everyone knows he's a good player, I think this year he's going to establish himself as the best player on the defense. I think really highly of him. Last year, he was the best defensive tackle from that draft class. He was better than Quinnen Williams. He was better than Ed Oliver, picked in the top 10. So I think out of anyone on the defense, Dexter Lawrence is going to have the best chance at making the Pro Bowl. I guess a deeper dark horse, I think O'Shane Ximines is our best pass rusher. And last year, he played less than half the snaps. And for whatever reason, Ximines and Julian Love played so little, and then when they did play, they played well. But I think he's going to lead the team in sacks this year. I'm predicting like between 8 and 10 sacks for him. So, yeah, those are my two guys.
Yeah, see, no, I was with you last year. I expected Lorenzo Carter to have a huge season, and he really disappointed. So I'm a little skeptical of Lorenzo Carter. He's just such a – him and Ximines played like Carter did last year. Like Carter didn't play a lot in 2018, and when he did, he made an impact. That was Ximines last year. So I don't really – I mean, I always worry about that a little bit. But for me, I mean, I'm going to go Leonard Williams. Like I think Leonard Williams – has a massive season for the Giants. He's on that franchise tag. He's playing for a contract. He did a lot of good things for us last year. He really shored up our run defense. Chris and I talked about this on Talking Giants last week, which, by the way, Talking Giants tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. You won't want to miss that. That'll be on this channel. A little shameless plug there. But, we talked about the Giants were 4th in the NFL in rushing yards against, rushing yard average against a 3.9. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Leonard Williams has a lot to do with that. So, I think Leonard Williams can have a big season on defense. On offense, maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm waiting for Sterling Shepard to break out. I think this is the year he does. I've been on record. I said Sterling Shepard to win the Triple Crown for the Giants. He'll have the most receptions, most yards, and most touchdowns. I expect Sterling Shepard to play like he did at Oklahoma. I'm waiting for him to put this together. He's too good to be as bad as he's been. Obviously, the concussions are an issue, but if he's fully healthy, I think Sterling Shepard's a big dark horse for this team. Dire Giants fan, thanks so much for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my man. He says, I just had to say it, but nice background, Bad Dog. We're adding number 5 in 2 years. You're damn right, diehard Giants fan. You're damn right. We are. Juan Gotti talking sports. Really, my good man. Love Juan Gotti talking sports. I think Juan Gotti's been hanging out with the 420 crew because he thinks Dwayne Haskins is winning the MVP this year. So I don't know what you're drinking, but give me some. But he says Terry McLaurin or Darius Slayton. Honestly, I'm going with Terry, of course. But that's a great question. I mean, those guys are very comparable. So that's actually a good question. David, what do you think? Terry McLaurin, Darius Slayton, who has a bigger season?
I agree with you. I think McLaurin is probably the second best receiver in the division after Amari Cooper. He was also a mid-round pick, just like Slayton. He was picked in the 3rd round, and his teammate, Paris Campbell, was picked ahead of him in the 2nd round by the Colts. So he was injured all last year. But, I was surprised how good McLaurin was last year. He was a dominant receiver with not very good quarterbacks. So, I would have to say him, although I do think Slayton is very good. And I think he's going to have a better year than last year. But I just don't see him having the same kind of stats as last year because so many of our receivers were injured. So I think they're going to have to, share the ball a little bit. I think McLaurin is probably the second best receiver in the NFC East.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with McLaurin just because, who else is Dwayne Haskins going to throw the ball to? They don't have that many weapons, to be honest, and that was, his biggest weapon to really throw to, and I think he has a better catch radius. The Darius Slayton, I love Darius Slayton, but just watching Terry McLaurin, he's just unbelievable, his route tree ability, and I think he was better than Darius Slayton coming in. I love Darius Slayton. I think he's going to have a great input on this offense, but I think we have more weapons, and we're going to spread the ball around more, especially because the Redskins, they don't really have, a primary tight end, and we have, tight ends to throw to, but, yeah, that's their number one weapon, so I'm going to say he's going to have a bigger year.
OGR, what do you think?
So I'm going to have to go with Scary Terry on this one. But honestly, I'm going to channel my inner Lee Corso and say closer than the experts think. So it's going to be a battle between them.
I'm definitely not going with McLaurin because Haskins stinks. No, I'm just kidding. I think I actually agree with David on this. I do think Terry McLaurin right now is the second best receiver outside of Amari Cooper in our division. I don't know if that – I'm anxious to see what CeeDee Lamb does. Because with Cooper on that side, they're going to be paying attention to Cooper. I think CeeDee Lamb could have a huge season. And, again, I'm a Sooner guy, so obviously I'm partial to the Big 12 like OGR is partial to the Big 10. And David's partial to Clemson.
Not the ACC, just Clemson.
Just Clemson.
The ACC stinks. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Penn State's got to play the Hokies the second week of the season, and they're going to Blacksburg. So it's gonna be
when North Carolina is your toughest opponent, it's not really saying a lot. But yeah, I would agree. I think Terry McLaurin is going to have a big season. Dwayne Haskins has been working very hard, which I give him credit for. That speaks a lot to his character, that he seems to be maturing, and that's exactly what you want to see. Obviously, they played at Ohio State together, so they came in with that rapport. And I think with each guy having a year under their belt, I think that Terry McLaurin could easily get 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns this season. And again, like Noah said, they really don't have anybody else to throw to. They have no tight ends, and they really don't have any other wide receivers. So, you know, you could see Haskins turn the ball over a lot because he's forcing the ball to McLaurin because he really doesn't have anywhere else. Kind of like Eli used to do with Odell Beckham. I mean, you really have anywhere else to go. You just threw the thing to Beckham all the time. So, by the way, I don't know if anybody saw that comment that I left to Odell Beckham today. This video, I had to do that to him. That's a good question, though. So, yeah, let's see what else we got in the chat. What's going on, Big Dog Sports Games, Gary? Sajid Syed Calvin, what is going on, man? Big Cardinals fan right there. On the Warpath says, appreciate the respect for Haskins and Scary Terry. L.A. Lou is in the house. Philly fan D, what's going on, everybody? What about the rumor of the top 10 or the top college teams players catching COVID on purpose so they could win the season? I actually heard that from Uncle Lou today, man. It's just insane. I don't even know what to think about that question. Calvin says, do you think Jason Garrett will make a difference for DJ in the O-line? Why? Well, OGR, we'll start with you on that one.
I mean, that's just his track record with Dallas. I mean, that's when they really started hitting their stride when he was offensive coordinator and then moving on to head coach. And, Mark Colombo doesn't really hurt as well. Another, probably, Jason Garrett had a little bit of influence there. And I mean, everything's predicated on offensive line. For me, the Giants, their biggest weakness is time of possession. We've been bottom of the league time of possession the last 3-4 years. And that's the way the Giants are going to win games. Dominating that time possession, running Barkley, play action pass, going deep downfield because it's going to be the Air Coryell system. So yeah, that's what the Giants recipe for winning, and that's kind of what Joe Judge said in his press conference. We're going to punch you in the mouth for 60 minutes, and you're going to know you've been in a battle. So that's why.
I like it. Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I love Jason Garrett, especially when you have like a coach that can really relate to your players, and he's obviously played quarterback, so he could be like, this is what I saw when I was playing, that type of thing. Yeah, I love Colombo, especially because when we drafted Pert, we've never had in a while a good coach really develop offensive linemen, and I have a lot of faith in Colombo being able to develop Matt Pert. I think Pert could really end up being a great football player. He's really raw, especially because he played at UConn. He didn't play up against top competition for sure. But I think Jason Garrett's definitely going to help out Daniel Jones, what he did with Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, especially because Dak Prescott was a 4th-round quarterback. You could definitely say with what was around him. But you could definitely say a big reason we selected Andrew Thomas was because Jason Garrett loves offensive linemen, and you have to really be able to protect your quarterback for his type of system.
Yep. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I was actually more excited about Colombo than I was Jason Garrett because I just think our offensive line coaching has been so bad the last few years. And I think Garrett was actually the backup to Kerry Collins. And Kerry Collins said in an interview that Garrett's sort of like a quarterback guru, and he's always talking about the game. And he was really good with Tony Romo. He's really good with Dak Prescott. So I do think it's going to help Daniel Jones' development. So that's the biggest reason why I think it was a good hire.
I don't know why my mic does that. Luckily, I caught that time. Let me just put it to you this way, and I love Colombo too. You guys all made really good points about that. I like the points everybody made. Colombo, obviously, a huge deal. And again, what the reason Dak Prescott succeeds is because of that offensive line and running game. And Dallas, although people were ticked off, Dallas fans were so mad about, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and they hated because it's not a sexy pick. It's not the sexy pick. But at the end of the day, that wins football games, and it protects your quarterback, like you guys said. The Giants are trying to build that Dallas type of offense. Dallas is not a great defense, but they win because they control the ball 32, 33 minutes a game. That's huge. Like OGR said, this is what the Giants got to get back to doing, is controlling the clock, because that alleviates the pressure off the fact we don't have a pass rush and alleviates the pressure on our young secondary. So definitely I agree. And let me just say this. Do I like Jason Garrett here? Do I think he'll help Daniel Jones? I said Daniel Jones will be a top 10 quarterback in this league this year, make the Pro Bowl. I think that says all you need to know. KP, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. He says Yankee dog in 3 weeks, Laker dog in 4. Life feels right. You get a Yankee dog a little sooner. Because we got talking Giants tomorrow, I can't do the preseason game. But I'm doing Yankee preseason. I have got to do baseball. It's got to happen. Bobby, you son of a bitch. Really. Bobby's rubbing it in all week that he's on vacation. Well, it's okay now because it's a 3-day weekend for me. But he says, Giants will surprise me this year. Also, Mad Dog Howard's work today. I freaking love Bobby. Bobby's the man. Bobby's great, man. That's another channel you guys got to subscribe to. Is Butcher's Block and Patriots Talk, as well as these 3 fine gentlemen that are in the stream with me tonight. The links to all their channels are in the description. So if you haven't subscribed to Giants Alliance, Noah Cahill, or OGR Sports, please do so by clicking those links in the description. Click that bell notification. Show these guys some love. Like I said, I brought them on tonight because I swear these are 3 of the most underrated content creators on YouTube. And these guys do a really great job in their channel. They have my respect. They're obviously very knowledgeable, as you can tell, and very passionate Giants fans. As you can tell by OGR's face in the thumbnail, he is very passionate about Giants. Zach Phillips, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. He says, when Jason Garrett leaves the Giants, do you think our quarterback coach will take the job? What do you think, Noah?
That's a good question because I'm a big fan of Jerry Shaplinski, what he was able to do with Garoppolo, Brissett, and everything I hear, he's like really smart for sure. And yeah, that was a good point because I think he's going to help out Daniel Jones a lot. Because Fitzpatrick, he's not the greatest of quarterback, and he did not like have the greatest of supporting cast around him. But Fitzpatrick was still able to be like really solid with like a bad offensive line and not that many weapons. But he's a great young mind for sure. And yeah, I wouldn't mind it at all. I think he definitely has potential to be a top like tier coach one day.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, I agree. Everything that you said is correct. Like, he's an up and coming young coach that a lot of people think's a future offensive coordinator. And I don't see Jason Garrett. I've heard you say this before on stream. I don't think Jason Garrett's going to be getting a head coaching job too soon because of what happened in Dallas. Like, even if the Giants are in the top 10 in offense, I think he's going to have to prove himself for a couple of years before, he does get another opportunity as a head coach. And I do believe that's his ultimate goal. I just don't see him, leaving after 1 year. So I could see maybe in 2 years, if he has 2 very good seasons with the Giants, Garrett will leave for a head coaching job, but I just don't see that happening right away.
OGR.
Yeah. This is actually going to be my hot take of the night. I actually think that Garrett stays with the Giants for an extended period of time, and actually Chaplinski gets stolen away at some point because he is that hot head coaching hire, and that's what teams are looking for, these unknown names to come up out of nowhere and really, and you could just see his track record starting to form now. So that's my hot take for the night. That's
a great take, OGR, because if Daniel Jones does takes a step forward that I'm expecting, you're definitely going to get a hot young coach. That's exactly what people want. It's, Jason Garrett, like you said, I think maybe in a few years he gets a head coaching job, but he's a retread. He had a long coaching tenure at Dallas. They had good teams. They never got over the hump. So you see the NFL, a lot of guys are going with these young hot head coaches, and that's why we went with Joe Judge. We went outside the box, which is what I love what the Giants did with this guy. It certainly doesn't help when you're coaching when you coached under Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. You're not going to get any better schooling than that, which I forgot to mention this. One of you guys mentioned, when we were talking about all the fools we have on this team, like DeAndre Baker, getting in trouble, and Kyle Oletta and Josh Brown and Aldrich Rosas. You mentioned we don't have smart guys. One thing you heard about every single guy we drafted, he's smart. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy, which is exactly what Joe Judge said in his opening press conference that he wanted. We want to be teachers. We want guys that want to learn. You're not going to have better students than smart, guys. Darnay Holmes is extremely smart. Andrew Thomas, extremely smart. McKinney, smart. I love what the Giants did in the draft. I mean, we have a tough schedule. I'm cautiously optimistic at the same time being pessimistic because I swear they let me down a lot of times. So I don't want to get too over the top, and I know our schedule's tough, but I'm telling you, I picked us to go 6-10, but there's no reason we can't go 9-7 because I think we can split with Dallas and Philly. I really do, but I can't predict it because we haven't beaten them in 3 years. Let's just beat the damn Eagles this year, please. LA Lou. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my good man. He says the Giants will be better if Saquon is the focus of the offense. Jones needs to run the offense and protect the ball. DJ just needs to be good. Don't try too hard. Somebody mentioned that about Dwayne Haskins last night, and it's a good point. But I think DJ will be better than good. I really do. I think DJ will be great because the focus will be on Saquon Barkley, to be honest with you. Listen, Dak Prescott was great under play action. Daniel Jones has a lot of that in him. He's athletic. He can roll out of the pocket, which is something I was surprised Shermer didn't do last year, especially since we had such a bad offensive line and Nate Solder was a train wreck. Roll him the hell away from the pressure. They never did it. I expect to see a lot of that this year with Garrett's. Says, oh, that was L.A. Lou. There you go. Okay, so it was L.A. Lou. I didn't even know it was L.A. Lou. Split Zeri says Darius Geis is a beast. Dave, Geis can stay healthy. That's a big sleeper for the Redskins, but we'll see. Rel Got Game says, do you think the Giants need to sign an elite pass rusher? David, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, I 100% think we do. I think that's by far our biggest weakness, and that's why I don't think our defense is on the same level at this point as our offense. I think our offense has the potential to be very explosive, and I agree with you that Daniel Jones is going to have a big season, but I do worry about the defense and the pass rush primarily. And just think about the Super Bowl teams. We had so many good pass rushers, and we're emphasizing coverage. So we picked like a safety in the second round. We picked a cornerback in the fourth round. We didn't draft any pass rushers until the seventh. Carter Coughlin. He's more of like a hybrid linebacker. He can play edge, and he's probably going to get after the passer a little bit if he gets playing time. But yeah, I think that's by far our biggest weakness. So I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have trouble getting after the quarterback. And I think it's a myth that you can just scheme pressure, like some people say Patrick Graham is going to do, because you need guys to beat their blocks and get after the quarterback. So,
OGR, what do you think?
Not this season. I don't think you're signing one this season. I don't think you're going to get Everson Griffin or Jadeveon Clowney. Neither these guys are elite pass rushers in their own right anyways. So for me, it's either draft one next year or sign one big on the market next year, because honestly, I actually think the market will go down because of the whole COVID and the salary cap issue. They're already looking at ways to kind of offset it. So yes, that is one of our biggest needs, but I just don't think you're going to. Now it's just going to be pass rusher by committee, and let's just hope that some of these guys really develop, like an O'Shane Zimenez, like a Lorenzo Carter. Marcus Golden, it sounds like he's within the 12th hour. It sounds like he's going to get that. What's that tag called? I forget, but transition tag or something like that.
Yeah, transition tag. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like he's going to be the giant again. So we'll see with that. He did have double-digit sacks last year.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't sign a pass rusher because we're not ready to win now. You only go out there to get someone on a big deal when you're ready to win. If you think you're going to go to the Super Bowl or compete in the playoffs, I would definitely just draft one. I wouldn't throw a lot of money at a Jadeveon Clowney when I don't think we're one piece away of winning the Super Bowl or anything like that. You don't do that, in my opinion.
Right. You guys, again, all three make great points. OJR, I agree with you a lot that, yeah, I don't think Clowney's an elite pass rusher. I certainly don't think Everson Griffin's an elite pass rusher. And listen, we're not, like Noah just said, and I've said this a lot myself, we're not a pass rusher away from winning the Super Bowl. So don't spend your money there. Next year, when we have more cap space, it's a different story. I think we draft a wide receiver. If we're drafting early and Jamar Chase is there, you take him. But
Micah Parsons.
Right. Micah Parsons is a big out of Penn State, obviously. You know all about Micah Parsons. But there's two guys that I'm looking at, because the Chargers have two great pass rushers, and they can't tag both of them. So Bosa or Ingram is going to be available.
Bosa.
To me, there's the guy that you go after. Either Ingram or Bosa. One of those guys, they're not tagging them both. So one of them is going to be out there. And I think next year the Giants need to look wide receiver in the draft and then go after that, because I don't know about you guys. I think the Giants are contending for this division in 2021 without a doubt. And I think getting an elite pass rusher puts us into a great spot to contend and be contenders for years to come. So I think we do it next year for sure. Big Blue Jabroni, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my man. David, was he on your channel today or was that yesterday? The days blend.
Yeah, he was on my channel a couple of times. Yeah, he has great content. He also makes Giants YouTube channel videos. So definitely check out.
I had him on the big Blue
courtroom. That's right. That was where I saw him first, and then I saw him on David's. Was that today though, or was that yesterday?
Yesterday. I had like a little roundtable with some guys.
They all blend together at this point. He says some guys just got to work. Can't wait for football. I think. We're all ready. We're all ready for sports. My man, Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets is the frickin' man. Now, shout out to Meet the Mets for hosting the tailgate last year at Giants Stadium. It was awesome to meet him. And again, I can't wait to get down there and hang out with Mets again. My man from a long time ago. Thanks so much for the super chat. Brilly, my man. Great show, fellas. He says, I was pleased with our draft this year, but I feel we're one more big draft away from being a real contender. Hashtag make the Giants, or as Philly 500 would say, pound, make the Giants great again. Because if you guys know, you're too old to understand that the hashtag used to be a pound symbol on a touch-tone telephone. You young guys don't know anything about that.
I use a rotary dial. My great grandmother had a rotary dial forever, so I've used a rotary dial.
No, this was a touch-tone though. The touch-tone pound was the hashtag. So Philly 500 being my age in his middle 40s always says pound NASA, pound bad dog, whatever. It's hashtag, but he likes to call it pound. But I agree, Matt. And that's why I think we're all extremely high on us making a run at it next year, because we will have one more big draft. If Gettleman's done anything really well since he's been here, it's been drafted.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we can all agree with that. He's made some picks that make you scratch your head. The Daniel Jones one, listen, we all know how I reacted to that. I didn't like it. But he knew more than I did. Everybody hated the Saquon Barkley. You got to take Sam Darnold. No, you didn't. Sam Darnold stinks, and he knew that. And he said, I ain't taking Sam Darnold. Of course, that was part of ownership telling him he had to win in 2018. If they told him to rebuild, I think he would have taken Sam Darnold. So thank God ownership steered clear of that bust. That's right. He stinks.
You're going to upset Gangrene David.
He's not here anymore. Like I said last night, I think it was last night, or in a video. I think it was in a video about the Daniel Jones moving rather than Dwayne Haskins. Anytime you want to troll a fan base, just tell them their quarterback stinks. They get very defensive about the quarterback. Everybody does. It's your biggest piece. But I'm not trolling. He really does stink. I mean, you watched him play. He stinks. He had 19 touchdowns. He played an extra game. Daniel Jones played 12 games. Sam Darnold played 13. Daniel Jones had 5 more touchdown passes. And everybody wants to give Sam Darnold Sam Darnold this, Sam Darnold that. He's on a bad team, though, guys. He's got no offensive line. He's got no weapons. The hell did Daniel Jones have last year?
He never had his full starting complements of weapons at any point in the season last year.
The offensive line was terrible, but he stinks, according to the media. You gotta love the media. It's fantastic. Christopher Hidalgo says, can we afford Bosa with Saquon and DJ looming contract extensions? Noah, we'll start with you on that one.
I love Bosa, but yeah, we have to just see how much money we give to Jones and Barkley. Obviously, we have to see if Jones performs. I think he will, for sure. But I would way rather just draft one, in my opinion. It'll be cheaper. And I think we're doing a good job building around Jones early. That's how you're supposed to do it. Of course, like the Jets, they didn't draft offensive line. Of course, Quentin Williams, like you have to take, but he's obviously been a disappointment. But when like your quarterback's on a cheap deal, that's when you take advantage of it and like really try to win.
Yep. OGR, what do you think?
Right now, honestly, I mean, certainly you really can't afford it. Either way I look at it, you really can't afford it. But honestly, it's tough for me. I'm with Noah. I think you're going to end up drafting an elite pass rusher, so you're really not going to be able. It's tough. It's really tough. It all depends how it shakes out because what do we know? You know, maybe one of these guys gives us, a cheaper contract than we expect them to getting. Maybe Saquon settles for 15 because players have to realize, like, you're actively affecting everybody on your roster by taking. I know you want your money, but you're actively affecting everybody on your roster. Like, there's only a certain window, and this salary cap is not going up next year. So a lot of these guys that are kind of holding out for big contracts next year, they're not going to get it.
Right, David, what do you think?
I think we're in pretty good salary cap positioning for next year because Nate Solder is most likely not going to be on the team after this season, and he makes the most money on the team. So I could see us, being able to add at least one big piece. Leonard Williams is signed to a 1-year contract, and maybe if we sign him long term, he'll have like less annually, and we could fit in. I think you're right. If we can just get Ingram or Bosa, that's exactly what this team needs as one of those elite pass rushers, and either of those guys would be by far our biggest, pass rushing threat. So, yeah, I could see us next year. I think Daniel Jones is going to be better. Saquon's going to still be in his prime. That's the year that we're going to contend, and I could see us definitely getting one of those guys.
Yeah, the other thing, I think Zeitler is off the books, and he's like $10 million a year. They're probably going to, and that's the thing. I mean, you're probably going to move Nick Gates there. Or Peart, then that's the thing. You got Lemieux, you got Peart, you got Nick Gates. So you got young guys that could come in there and take Zeitler's spot. So you're going to probably lose whatever it is, $25 million off your offensive line right there, and hope that these guys you drafted fill in. And we're already in good cap situation as it is. So I think the Giants are going to pay. I'd rather pay an edge rusher than a wide receiver. So I'd rather give the money to Melvin Ingram or Joey Bosa and go ahead and get a wide receiver in the draft. Meat Tarian has a great question. He says, do you guys think JPP is going to have a fireworks show this weekend? We'll start with you, OGR.
I absolutely think he's going to have a fireworks show. Why not? What could possibly happen?
I don't know. David, what do you think? OGR JPP fireworks.
I'm actually in South Florida, and that's where JPP is from, in Deerfield Beach High School, like right close to where I live. So I'll try to make sure he doesn't do anything this year because he had a really good season last year, actually. I thought he was really good. He's still a good pass rusher. He's obviously not as good as he was in 2011. He basically carried our defense on his back during that regular season. I think we ranked one of the worst defenses in the entire league, but he kept us in a lot of games. If you remember, he blocked that field goal against Dallas.
Yes.
To help us win that game. So, yeah, JPP was an awesome draft pick by Jerry Reese. And
one of the few.
Obviously, his career hasn't turned out as I thought it would, because I thought he was going to be like the next Strahan. He was so athletic. He was doing the backflips as a rookie. He was so athletic. But, I don't think he'll be doing fireworks anymore. Definitely not.
Noah, what do you think?
I don't think he's allowed to anymore.
What's funny about the him blocking that kick against Dallas? I was watching that game on my next door neighbor. It was a great game, by the way. I mean, you just saw Eli's clutch in that game. So it was a great game. But he called that. He said before they kicked that, he said, I've seen JPP coming in there and blocking the kick. I can see him blocking this kick. I'm like, how in the hell does anybody call a block kick but call the player to do it? I'm like, what are the odds? But he did. He said, I can see JPP blocking this kick. Sure enough, that's what happened.
Long arms.
And that was, he did. I remember them saying in that Super Bowl that the Patriots were practicing against guys that had big fan patterns.
Oh, yeah.
And because he had such long arms, he was so good at knocking the ball down to the ground. PTA Sports. Brilliant. Thank you for the super chat. That's the guy I want to have on my next Giants roundtable. I want to work with PTA Sports. He did such a good job of Chris when they stream together. So I would love to have him on the channel. That's the guy you guys got to sub up as well if you haven't subbed up. PTA Sports. So go over there, check him out. And I'll contact you, man, if you'd like to be on the roundtable. I'd love to have you on here. He says, what's up, guys? Good to see the roundtable filled out with some great guys. Go Giants. You're damn right. Mustard Bus is in the house. What's going on? I always love a Mustard Bus slides in here. Mustard Bus. BJ DeGoat says, does Dwayne Haskins become a backup? David, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I just think Haskins is not very good. I could definitely see him becoming a backup in a couple of years. Like you said this before on your streams, when he was at Ohio State, he had so much talent around him. His receivers were wide open. He had all these fast receivers. Like if Daniel Jones was on that Ohio State team, he'd likely be putting up like Joe Burrow type numbers. He'd be a Heisman Trophy winner. So yeah, I just don't think Haskins is good. I just foresee him playing for a couple more years, the Redskins stinking, and then maybe he'll go to another team as a backup. That's my prediction for him.
I like that. Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest of Haskins fan. I'm not going to lie. On draft night, I wanted him over Jones, but then I really looked at what he was surrounded with. And if you take a look at quarterbacks that win Super Bowls, like they've all faced adversity in college. Like they never really ended up going to like big time football programs. And we see like Ohio State quarterbacks not really work out. Like Jones played in a pro style offense. His offensive line sucked. His wide receivers sucked. But Haskins had like a lot of players that went to the NFL, played in a spread offense, a bunch of quick reads, and just like dumped it down, and they took it to the house when Jones had nothing. But I'm not that big of a fan of Haskins.
OGR.
I'm going to answer this a little bit differently. So the most impressive tape for me was Daniel Jones against Clemson. Considering Clemson had that all-star defense, and I asked myself, take Dwayne Haskins off Ohio State and put him in that game. Because, I mean, literally receivers were dropping wide open balls in that game. Daniel Jones was getting his ass kicked. Sorry for the language. But
that's fine.
Yeah. And I'm just saying there's no way watching Dwayne Haskins.
Whatever language you want, OGR. You can use whatever language. This is not for children. So go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways, Dwayne Haskins, you put him there, he's not going to do it. And I mean, I've watched Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. Like guys were running wide open. He was never touched. There was no guy ever 5 yards around him. He never felt any pressure. It's just like he's never dealt with adversity. And every time he has a swift of just slight controversy, you see how he reacts on Twitter. That's not an adult quarterback in this league. If anybody thinks that Dwayne Haskins is going to sit there and be something, I'm sorry. He doesn't have the mentality. He doesn't have it between the ears. And when Redskins fans say, "Oh, he's better than Daniel Jones," you are out of your mind. What are you watching?
Told you.
I want to drink the Kool-Aid too because it's some good shit.
They're in the 420 crew is what they are if they think that. And don't forget his selfie. He couldn't even take the kneel down because he was too busy taking a selfie when they beat the Lions. So he couldn't even do that. Listen, I talked about this too. Much like Noah, I said draft night, I'd rather have Dwayne Haskins than Daniel Jones for the simple fact I'm ignorant to Daniel Jones. I thought that was all a smoke screen that the Giants really wanted this guy. I didn't pay any attention to Daniel Jones. I never watched Duke football. Who the hell? That's why I always laugh now. Oh, I love Daniel Jones. Bullshit. Nobody watches Duke football. Nobody. Okay, Duke fans don't watch Duke football. They love Daniel Jones now. But after watching the film, I did watch. I've never been a fan of Ohio State quarterbacks. Haskins has a big arm. But again, he had 6 NFL players on his offense. He had both running backs, 2 receivers, and 2 linemen. So he had it easy.
Actually, if you count Benjamin Victor, it'd be 3.
There you go.
7.
There you go.
So he was on that roster as well.
Right. Good. Yeah. Good point. So 7 NFL guys. Daniel Jones had 2 guys in his entire team get invited to the combine. When I watched Daniel Jones's film and saw where he was putting the ball and seeing how he threw under pressure, I became a big fan. And I never realized how athletic Daniel Jones was. I had no idea. That jumped out of the page immediately. I'm like, man, this kid is athletic. He don't look athletic. He looks like Eli's kid. We all know how unathletic Eli is. But
have you seen? There was a pass of Daniel Jones. They were filming him. He's at Duke. I mean, he's in shorts. But for me, Daniel Jones was very accurate downfield, but where he did miss guys was slightly underthrown ball. He doesn't have the biggest arm.
No,
I'm telling you what, there's one where he's running out to the sideline. Looks like he's about to trip, and he just chucks it downfield. I'm like, Daniel Jones last year was not making that throw, even in shorts. And I'm like, that 8 pounds of muscle did something. You can always improve your arm strength, and that's exactly what Daniel Jones did.
We gotta love it. Diehard Giants fan, one of the best subscribers of the entire sports community on YouTube. Brilly, my good man. Always shout out to him. Without Diehard Giants fan, I couldn't do this. I'd like to thank him for the chair not killing my back. He says, what does our record need to be in order to keep Gettleman and be in position to draft a great pass rusher? We'll start with you, OGR.
For me, I'm hoping ownership has patience. I'm praying they have patience. I'm hoping John Mayer takes a page out of Wellington's book. Before, we started firing all these GMs, the average length of the Giants GM was 13 years. So, and I just, it's unjustifiable to be firing him when you partnered him with a coach. They should have fired both guys last year if that's what they wanted to do and do it to hit the reset button. They didn't. They decided to give Gettleman a chance. Guess what? You're stuck with Gettleman for 3 more years. It's inexcusable to fire Gettleman regardless of what happens this season, because what GM is going to take the job? He doesn't get a choice at quarterback. He doesn't get a choice at really anything. And he's got to accept the team. What kind of GM are you going to get? I'll tell you what kind of GM you're going to get. You're going to get our assistant GM. That's who you're going to get, because that's the only person willing to take the job at that point.
Yep.
But either way, I'll listen to what everybody else has to say.
I completely agree with you on that. I think we got to be patient with Gettleman, no doubt. Like I said, if you're dysfunctional, that's also going to not want players to come here. If you're completely dead, it's what happens with the Knicks. We see this all the time as Knicks fans. If there's any Knicks fans out there, that they are complete shit. Every year they're changing coaches, presidents, GMs, half, 3/4 of the roster. You can't do that every year because you have no functionality at that point. You have no rapport. You're starting over all the time. You can't get ahead by starting over all the time. If you're playing a game and you're there's 8 stages and you're struggling on the 6th, you don't start the game over. You try to finish the 6th stage, you get through it so you can finish the game. You don't keep starting over. Makes no sense. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I really like the way Gettleman drafts. I think he's a very good builder of a football team. He did that in Carolina. He drafted really well. And he's drafted extremely well in the middle rounds. So I just like the way he picked Julian Love in the 4th round, Ryan Connolly in the 5th round. Darius Slayton was also in the 5th round last year. I think the draft this year is also going to be really good. I don't foresee the Giants moving on from him. I think he was actually close to getting fired after last season, and he had to fight for his job or convince ownership to keep him around. But I do like the way he's drafting. I think the thing that probably kept him or saved him from getting fired was Daniel Jones, who I give him a lot of credit for, because I didn't like the pick. I think 90% of Giants fans thought it was a terrible pick when it happened. But I think he got the right guy. So I think because of that, it's going to buy him at least a couple of years. And the last few draft classes have been really good. So, yeah, I don't see him getting fired after this season. It would have to be a really bad season, in my opinion, for him to be fired.
You made a good point, Daniel Jones. I think Gettleman stays as long as Jones does. I think if Jones ends up being, where we don't give him another contract, I think then Gettleman's out the door. But I think if Jones is good enough where we think he's going to be that good, I think you're going to see Gettleman stay there. Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. We need stability for sure, like we used to have. And of course, we haven't been good in a very long time. But I've liked what Gettleman has done. He's never really been big in free agency, but he's definitely getting the pieces for the future. He drafted Daniel Jones. He's worked out so far. Saquon Barkley, and he made the right pick this year to protect the pieces he drafted at 2 and 6. But I definitely like what he's done. I don't know if he's going to be here this long due to his health. I think that's the only thing that's going to make him go. But I think we're going to just have to improve, maybe 6 to 7 wins. If it's below that, I think he'll be fired, but we definitely need patience.
Yep. It's a good point about his health.
Actually, I got a little bit of breaking news. I just want to get you guys' opinion on this. NFL players could be fined for breaking coronavirus-related protocol, sources say, and that's according to Danny Graziano of ESPN. Good. So, I think that's obvious, and I think that should be in place. So,
yep.
I just
good.
wanted you guys.
That could have something to do with the whole thing in college. I did ask all you guys about that, right? OGR started with you on that, correct?
No, you kind of touched on it, but you didn't really roundtable it.
Oh, go ahead, OGR. Sorry.
Actually, a lot of you guys probably can think I'm nuts, but these kids are, coronavirus usually affects people that are immunocompromised or older people. People are going to think I'm nuts, but the only way to get a herd immunity in a population is either expose everybody to the actual disease and you grow a natural immunization to it that way and recover from it, and or you get a vaccine. Vaccines aren't coming anytime soon. If you really wanted to play an NFL season, this is nuts. You put everybody in a room together with coronavirus, allow it to spread, and this way everybody's immune from it. It's crazy to think, but that's the only 2 ways you're getting it. Yeah, it's nuts to think that college players would do that, but that is the only way you could do it right now without a vaccine.
I think I had this crap in the winter. I really do. I think I had it in the winter. I remember doing a Laker game. I was dying, even how the hell I got through it. I was so sick. I was like, maybe I had it. Who knows? PTA Sports, Brilly, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm in. Hit me up on the Twitters. Oh, I'll hit you up. No doubt about that. You will be on the next roundtable, man. I appreciate the super chat. And Mark Gettleman, my man. Brilly, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Sam Darnold stinks. And he says, and this is a great question, why do Jets fans say, how do we take a running back at 2 when he'll be done in 4 years, and yet they pay Bell a fortune at 28 years old? Because they're the Jets. I don't know what else to say.
How is Joe Namath a Hall of Famer?
He beat the Colts, then predicted it. That's all I can say. That's it.
Because the Jets needed a Hall of Famer, so they just kind of felt bad for him.
I guess. I don't know. Do they have another? They don't have another Hall of Famer, do they?
I don't think so. I don't think Gastineau was.
Yeah, Gastineau's not. Jeff Lagerman's not.
I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Curtis Martin. Did he go in as a Jet? He's got to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, is he a Hall of Famer? Curtis Martin.
Got to be. He's like top 5 in all-time rushing yards. I just don't know if he went or a Jet. Yardley Moyes, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my man. He says, I can see Saquon Barkley carrying the Giants into the playoffs like Larry Johnson carried the Chiefs back in 2006. I think you're going to see the Giants use him a lot. You're seeing him bulk up. Obviously, he must have been told something because Barkley was already a ridiculous physical specimen, not human. Somehow that guy got bigger and stronger. He hasn't lost any speed. They probably told him, you're going to be the workhorse. So he's putting on that weight. He's ready to take some hits. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Noah.
Yeah, something that was on my mind, the thing I was scared of, hopefully Jason Garrett realizes that Saquon Barkley's a totally different back than Ezekiel Elliott, and he doesn't try to get him just running between the tackles like Pat Shurmur did. Like you said, he didn't really utilize Daniel Jones' skill set that well. I remember you mentioning this in a stream. Like Pat Shurmur was using Daniel Jones in some games like he's Eli Manning. Like he's not just a pocket passer. But we know Saquon Barkley's work ethic. He has a good head on his shoulders, and yeah, I think he's gonna have a good year. And I think he's trying to get stronger, and just work on running between the tackles better.
What do you think, OGR?
What was the question again? Because I was reading up on Jets.
Oh, it said Saquon. He said, I see Saquon Barkley carrying the Giants in the playoffs like Larry Johnson carried the Chiefs back in 2006. I just said he's going to have a much heavier workload this year, pretty much.
He'll have a heavier workload, but I don't see him. I mean, he could. I'm a massive Saquon Barkley fan, and I'm just trying to be unbiased here. And obviously, he's going to be the reason. If we do make the playoffs, he's going to be the reason we do it. I don't know if he carries us through the playoffs because playoff teams are going to try and take your best weapon away at that point. So, it's going to be on Daniel Jones to really carry us through the playoffs. That's the only reason why I don't say he will.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think this is the best offensive line that Saquon's had. In his rookie season, he had over 9 carries of over 40 yards, and he's the first person to do that since Chris Johnson in 2009 and Barry Sanders in 1997. That's like the only running backs who have done that in the last 30 years. So I think I'm hoping ideally that we play a little bit like the Titans last year or the Ravens, where we're a run first team and we can use Daniel Jones on the play action passes. And we get off to early leads. So that's what I'm hoping for. I think he's going to have a huge season.
I do too. What was I going to see here? So, Michael Sachs Jr. says the Jets have 14 Hall of Famers. Wow. Is Ken O'Brien a Hall of Must have been guys in the AFL days that I just
a lot of their Hall of Famers aren't guys that were actually on their team for any long, like Brett Favre, Ed Reed,
gotcha.
Bill Parcells, Ty Law, Ronnie Lott, Jason Taylor, Stephen Atwater. Joe Namath is really the only true Jet. LaDainian Tomlinson, Art Monk.
Tomlinson, yeah.
God, I don't even remember Atwater being a Jet. Benjamin Winsbag, he says, I fell asleep. Now I'm back. We'll go for another 10 minutes. We'll take this to 11 o'clock. So, again, guys and girls, 160 people in here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really do appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up if you haven't. But more importantly, man, make sure you guys go into that description. The link to all three of these gentlemen's channels are there. Click on them, sub them up, hit that big subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell so you know when they are dropping their content and show them some love. And, of course, thank you guys for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying these roundtables for sure.
Thanks, man.
Let's see. Alex Irizarry says, who do you guys blame more for the last 8 years, Jerry Reese or ownership? Great question. OGR, I'm going to start with you because I know you're not a fan of ownership. So I'm gonna start with you.
If you would have asked me even 2 years ago, I would have said Jerry Reese. But as time goes on, it's clear to me it's just ownership. Ownership's responsible for everything. Waiting to fire Jerry Reese, a lot of Giants. I mean, I love Dave Gettleman, but a lot of Giants fans don't. Hiring Dave Gettleman, hiring, Pat Shurmur, the panic hiring of Pat Shurmur, Ben McAdoo, allowing that debacle go on, allowing Eli Manning to be benched for Geno Smith. That was part of ownership too. All these major decisions that, everybody wants to point at this coach or this GM. At the end of the day, it's ownership, and their patience have worn thin for whatever reason. And because of their lack of patience and not wanting to build continuity on this team and giving guys 1 to 2 years, which is a proven track record in the NFL, you cannot do. You don't have to look very far, just right across the way, the Jets or the Cincinnati Bengals. Impatience with their coaches, impatience with their team. Ownership's got to, again, look back and take a page out of Wellington's book and grow some frickin' patience.
David, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's ownership. After the 2015 season, we were 6-10, and we decided to move on from Tom Coughlin when it really should have been Jerry Reese because Ben McAdoo, supposedly Ben McAdoo was the Eagles' top choice, and I think that's part of the reason that we let Coughlin go. But and I think actually Peterson was like a backup plan to McAdoo, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I think it's ownership. I think they let Jerry Reese continue to have bad draft after bad draft for so many years. And Eli towards the end, I feel like he was getting happy feet and he, was getting rid of the ball too fast because he had such bad offensive lines for so many years in a row with Eric Flowers at left tackle. So, yeah, I blame ownership. I think ownership, they kept Jerry Reese too long. And that's probably why Dave Gettleman is going to keep his job for a couple more years at least, even if the Giants aren't very good. He doesn't like to move on from GMs.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with David and OGR for sure. Like, the ownership's like big responsibility. They're the ones that brought in Jerry Reese. But Jerry Reese had terrible drafts for like taking Eli Apple, taking Eric Flowers, and just like not building around Eli Manning successfully towards the end of his career, because obviously he needs an offensive line. But yeah, the ownership definitely should have told him to not take like a skill position player when it wasn't necessary, when like it doesn't matter how many weapons we have, especially when you have Eli Manning. He's not going to be able to run around back there. He needs time to throw the football. But yeah, like Giants Alliance said, like Eli Manning just expected to get sacked, it seemed like. But it's on the ownership and GM, just the whole organization.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all you guys. The big thing for me was when you fired Coughlin, you were supposed to fire Reese. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't keep the GM there and fire a Hall of Fame coach that won you 2 Super Bowls when the talent was there. When Reese tried to address the offensive line, he failed miserably. And he failed miserably where Gettleman has succeeded, and that is in the middle rounds of the draft. He never had any standout. He's drafting guys like Jaron Hosley in the 3rd round, Marvin Austin in the 2nd round. These guys never bet. Clint Sintum in the 2nd round. Who the hell are these guys? This is what Reese did to us for many years. Reese also put the kibosh on Ben McAdoo wanting to trade up to get Pat Mahomes, which pisses me off to no end. He also turned down a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2008, where the Chiefs offered us Tony Gonzalez for a 4th-round pick. And Jerry said, I'll give you a 6th-round pick. I'm not giving up a 4th-round pick for one of the greatest tight ends in the history of – can you imagine Tony Gonzalez on the 2008 Giants team? My God. So Reese did all this stuff, and they decided to get rid of the coach instead of the GM. And then he drafted Eli Apple in 2016 and Evan Ingram in 2000. It just made more of a mess.
honestly, and I just wanted to add this in there because Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, Jerry Reese didn't hire Tom Coughlin. I believe it was Ernie Accorsi, correct? I could have that wrong.
Yeah, Reese wasn't there in 2007. Coughlin came here in 2004. Yeah,
so Ernie Accorsi hired. I think Jerry Reese, I'm not saying he was doing it on purpose, but had a couple rough seasons there. He never really surrounded Tom Coughlin with anything, all because of these bad drafts anyways. I mean, I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but he didn't do any favors for his head coach. So I'm saying he was part of the reason why Tom Coughlin was run out of here. I fully blame that on Jerry Reese.
Yeah.
I'm saying he kind of, once he had his guy and he was like, well, now that I got my guy, I don't need Coughlin anymore. So bring in McAdoo. And then all of a sudden he just goes out and spends in free agency. So. Yeah,
I mean, but that's the thing. That's why ownership could have got rid of Reese. Well, like I said, when they hired McAdoo, and I put it up on my page because I found that old video, and I mentioned this before too. That they hired McAdoo. I had a rant for the ages about that, and I say right in that video, and this is 2016. I say Reese better kill the draft. He didn't, and I said that the Giants are going to be in a bad spot for 5 years. It's going to take us 5 years to get out of this. Well, this is our 5th year. And I think that you're finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think by next year, this team is going to be good. So it has taken us 5 years to get out of that whole debacle that happened in 2016. Made no sense. They did. And again, this is all ownership that put us in this situation. So sometimes you get a little senile. There's not good owners in New York sports. You got the Wilpons, you got the Dolans, you got the Maras and the Tishes. Thank God.
Well, the Maras and the Tishes were good at one point. I hope they can get back to it.
Sometimes the game passes you by, though, and that's just what happened. Luckily, as Yankee fans, we got the Steinbrenners, and they're where they always are, contending for a World Series championship. Sure going to get this year, by the way. Take one more question, and I'll let these guys go since we've been live for almost 2 hours. Let me see what I can grab here. I don't even see one there.
Nicky has thought on FedEx asking the Redskins to change their name.
Right, yeah, we'll go with that one. I just saw that one. So what do you guys think?
I mean, it's FedEx is none of their business. If they want to take their name off of it, go right ahead. There's any other company that's going to jump in and take over for FedEx. I think it's a little ridiculous. I understand what they're trying to do by that, but the Redskins have been the Redskins for years, and even some Native Americans don't have a problem with it. I know some people feel it's offensive, but at the end of the day, it's just a name, and they're not. It's not. To me, it's not used in a racist manner, and it's been like that for years. But hey, we're ripping down statues these days, so who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. They just have they've had it for such a long time. Like, why would they change it now? To really just say.
David, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I saw today on PTI they were talking about the sponsors are actually gonna stop supporting the team, and they're kind of trying to force their hands to change the name this year, but it doesn't seem like the owner wants to. So yeah, I feel like they talk about this every year that they're going to change the name, and they never do. So I don't think they're going to actually change it.
Yeah, I mean, this is my thoughts on it. I don't know. I guess it's a slang term, right, or whatever. Well, aren't the Yankees? Isn't that a slang term too? Are they going to make the New York Yankees change their name at some point? Is that going to offend Northerners because we're Yankees? Like I don't know. I'm an old school guy. I don't think there's a problem with the name, and they've been the Redskins for almost 100 years. So, and like you said, Dave, they talk about this every year. They haven't gone through with it. I don't know why FedEx cares. I don't think it hurts FedEx's business or, at all. And like OGR said, I think if FedEx leaves, there's going to be another sponsor that comes in there. There's too much money to be made in NFL football. So,
and somebody also brings up in the chat real quick, Chiefs and Browns as well. Like, right. If you're going to change the Redskins, you're going to have to change the Chiefs and the Browns. So I think it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I really don't have an opinion on it. I think you just leave it the way it is because, like David, I mean, they have talked about this for literally 8 years now that we're going to change the name. I mean, what would they change it to? All the guys that say HTTR. I mean, they couldn't say that anymore. HTTR
would have to change his channel name.
I know. It'd have to be something else. Hail to the pigskins. I don't know.
I think that's what they would actually change it to.
Yeah, well, they could still be the Hogs then, right?
Yeah.
Calvin,
Or just change it to the Hogs. Screw
they
it.
could. Yeah, the Hogs. But then would that offend people that are overweight? I mean, what do you do nowadays? You know, it's crazy.
Well, at that point, you're referring to an actual pig. So I'm sorry if you feel offended because we're gonna start changing the name of pigs because somebody might be offended because it symbolizes you being overweight. I think we change it to the Washington Hogs. There we go.
But the Hogs, I mean, they were huge guys. Like that's right. They were called the Hogs because they were really big, overweight guys. They were great though, man. That was one of the greatest offensive lines ever. But I don't know. HTTH. Hail to the Hogs. Why not? Calvin, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it, my man. Brilly, he says, thanks for the fun and banter, guys. Happy 4th of July to each of you. Same to you, sir. Don't JPP yourself. If you guys are going to use fireworks, do not JPP yourself because when you play Rochambeau, you don't want to throw out a pitchfork. Do not mess with fireworks unless you know what the hell you're doing. That's all I'm going to say about that. But we are going to wrap it up, guys. It is 11 o'clock. I want to thank each of you guys for coming on here, hanging out with me. And, of course, thank you to the chat for great questions. Thank you for supporting the channel, as you always do. I really do appreciate it. And one last time, if you haven't done so, the links to all 3 of these gentlemen's channels are in the description. So go in there, click on them, sub them up, ring the bell. And, again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys coming on, man. You got anything you want to say in closing? And I'll let you get back to whatever it is you guys got to do. OGR, I know what you got to do because I got to do the same thing.
I mean, I'll let David start.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bad Dog, for having me on. I have so much fun watching your stream, so it's really cool to be on here. And I think you're one of the best YouTubers. I think you're so entertaining, and I really appreciate it, man. This is a lot of fun. And yeah, definitely check out my my YouTube channel. But I have a website, nygiantsalliance.com, where I write some articles. So yeah, check that out. But I appreciate it, and it's fun working with you, Noah, and OGR. I hope we can work again soon.
That was awesome. I appreciate the kind words, man. It was awesome. All right.
Oh, am I going?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know what you guys.
All right. Thanks for having me on. I've been following your channel since Saquon's rookie year, and I've always respected the work you've put in. Especially with having a kid, you always took time out of your day or night to go live and that type of thing. And I always respect that type of thing for sure. And thanks for always supporting everyone's channels. You never really look at the subs. You just look at the person's personality or how great of a person is, and you just respect their work and not how many subs they have.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate the video you made for me, man. You didn't have to do that. So I appreciate the kind words, man. You guys are great, and OGR, you can close it out, my man.
All right. So, I mean, thanks for, Giants Alliance and no Cahill. It was fun talking with you guys. Also, I'd like both of you on my channel for the Big Blue Courtroom, either both at the same time or just one-on-one. We'll work that out. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Again, thank you for Bad Dog bringing us on. You didn't have to, but you did. And it's been OGR Sports, and I'll catch you on the next vid.
All right, guys. Again, one last time. If you haven't done so, go into the description, click on them, sub them up, and show them some love. For OGR, Giants Alliance, no okay. That's the Bad Diggity Dizzle, guys. Enjoy your 4th of July. And, well, actually, I'll see you guys for Talking Giants tomorrow. But if I don't, enjoy your 4th of July. So until next time, we are gone. Peace. I have to broadcast once and broadcast twice.